Hey, Trip Kramer here from tripadvice.com. My friend, I have a great way to meet women. And I say rejection proof because the way that you're going to do this is a really cool little strategy here. So the reason why I'm going to be teaching you this today is because some guys are just using online dating and using approaching women to meet women, which is fantastic. But there's another way to meet women that guys are not taking advantage of. And these days, it has made it so much easier for this to happen. So what I'm going to be talking about today and how we're going to strategize here is about meeting women through classes and events. I say rejection proof because the way that you're going to be meeting these women, you're not necessarily, if you don't want to, going to be asking them out on a date or getting their number to get them on a date in the very first meeting. So let me explain. So there are lots of classes and workshops and events that you can find on meetup.com, Eventbrite, Facebook. If you're watching this some years later, I'm sure you can just type into any search engine classes, workshops in your city, events in your city, and then you'll find all the different new companies that are advertising. But in the meantime, you can use the ones that I just mentioned. I want you to start going to these classes. Some examples, and not limited to, are drink and paint workshops, dance classes, all kinds of different fitness classes, yoga classes, exercise classes. There's so much out there, all kinds of unique stuff. There's even like art classes that you build clay pots and things like that. And I'm sure it's even more endless. That's just the tip of the iceberg. So here's the strategy. You go to these classes and get there early, okay? So get there like 10 minutes early. That way you can start socializing with some of the people. If you come right on time or late, you might not get a moment to talk to people. You can go with a friend of yours or you can go alone. If you go alone, you're going to be forced to talk to people more. So that is definitely a tip there. And then when you go early, you're going to start to introduce yourself. You're going to say, hey, what's up? How you doing? And then just say your name. Ask them if they've ever taken that class before or the workshop before. Tell them your experience with it. Yeah, I've been a bunch of times. It's so much fun. You can even ask them after that, so where are you from, right? Start a little bit of a conversation. And then you can maybe, depending on what's happening with the situation, talk to them during the class if it allows for it. And then after the class, you're going to introduce yourself and meet more people. Now, I know that this is somewhat hard for some people. You might be shy, might have social anxiety. So you're going to have to work your way up towards this. The more you go, the more easier it's going to be. So try to make sure you're going as often as you can. And then what you can do is two things. Either one, you can do the more rejection-proof method where you just make friends and then you get numbers, and what you're going to do is you're going to set up little events yourself. So what I mean is you'll set up a happy hour, set up some sort of event where you'll invite a bunch of people that you get numbers from out to hang out and socialize. Obviously, you're going to do this after you've really made a connection with the person. So don't get a number after like a minute. It's probably not going to turn into anything. So if you're talking to someone at the beginning of class and then maybe in the middle a little bit, maybe at the end you're talking a little bit more, then it might make sense to get their number. You collect a bunch of numbers, you create an event, you mass text people, you tell them to meet at a certain time, certain place to hang out. You invite a lot of people there. This is a great way to build a social circle. By the way, you can also do this from going out and approaching and meeting women at bars or during the day, things like that. So it's not limited to these classes and workshops, but this is a really untapped resource to meet some great single women. And a lot of the women that go to these classes are usually, depending on what class, single because they don't have a boyfriend. Otherwise, they'd be hanging out with their boyfriend. But instead, they're going to these classes, hanging out with their friends, and going there. So take advantage and check out some of these places. Now, you can also just ask them for their number then and there and ask them to get a drink sometime. This is not the necessarily rejection-proof method because they might say no. But this is, your typical pickup or just, asking her on a date. So after you guys have talked for a little bit, what you say at the end of talking is this simple line. Okay, so just use this word for word. Hey, you know what? You seem cool. We should grab a drink or grab a coffee sometime. Why don't I grab your number? So you say that to her to then get a number and then set up your own little personal date. So you can do a mixture of both. You can do that for some women. You can get some women's numbers. You can even just friend zone some women and invite them and tell them to invite their friends to the little events that you set up. So everything's about growing the social circle and inviting people out and being the center of the party. And what's cool about being the center of the party here is that you're going to be looked at as the leader, and that is a very masculine trait, and that's going to help build attraction. This works. This is something that one of my students is doing right now. I've been teaching him how to do it. He's in New York City, and there's tons of classes to go to. And he's saying it's working like a charm. He's meeting all kinds of women, and it's working out really well. So you can do this too. By the way, if you want help and you need coaching, you can always apply for coaching to work with one of our coaches here at TripAdvice, and you can get one-on-one help. I'll put a link in the description down below so you can learn more about that. Try to not go to classes that you don't give a crap about. If you absolutely hate painting, don't go to a painting class. If you absolutely hate yoga, don't go to a yoga class. But I'm asking you to be open-minded. So if you're not sure if you like any of that stuff, or you're kind of on the fence, or you don't know, just go, try it out. If you hate it, you never have to go again. But these are still great ways to be able to meet more women. So try things that you're unsure about. If you're unsure about it, you don't have a clear, defined, I hate this in your head, then that means you should go. So that's your filter. And again, a great way to expand your network, your social network, and also meeting more women that you could be interested in. And a lot of these women that are in these classes at these events, they might not be women that swipe on you online. Maybe they're not online on the dating apps. They also might not be out and about. So they might not go to the bars. So they're not on the apps, or you don't cross paths on the apps, and they're not at bars and clubs, and you don't see them during the day. This is an opportunity. So the best thing to do for your game plan to meet women is doing online, in-person, and events like this. And it's going to get you so many more leads and opportunities with women you might not meet.